what happened last time?
We began session at the top of the tower
That we
with Augustus having carved a line in the marble flooring, cobble flooring, something like that, stone flooring, and we had to figure out how to get around him or suffer the consequences, which a couple of people just decided to suffer the consequences and run through it. You brave souls. But on the bright side, it didn't instantly KO you, so not too terrible. But Jericho did do a shadow line. What's it called? Dusk Lance? Dusk line?
Shadow
Dusk Lance.
Dusk Lance. Yeah.
Dusk Lance. Dusk Lance through and entered into the vault. There's a fancier term for it, reliquary. And we'll come back to that later. But in the meantime, the rest of us had to deal with Augustus, and we didn't know her name at the moment, but we know out of game her name is Diliana, our elf who has a massive superiority complex, more so than elves normally have, and definitely has a motif for evolution in animals, considering how these are the things that she can summon: monkey, snake, and shark. And she also tailored her insults on such, calling Bradford a hairless ape and threatening to put him back into the primordial ooze in which he came from. The threat was issued, but we couldn't enter the vault. Well, maybe some of us could. We don't know. That time passed.
Yeah, we didn't really get a chance. We didn't jump on the
I think Lucian, Janny, did try to go into it and was rejected, but I think he was the only one that had the opportunity to be tested before something happened. But we'll get to that shortly. But yeah, we had to deal with Augustus, and he definitely was cleaning house with us alongside Lufer and Chad. Rena was up there as well, but she was incapacitated from her mind duel with Quint. Bradford did manage to clear past them and went past them and towards Deliana herself, where I don't remember what the name was called, but basically Dieter was put onto the field after she had shot Bradford with a disintegrate beam. The fuck around and find out. We got to the second part of that statement, the find out part, and she was so impressed that she offered the choice. You can either fight me or fight him. The choice wasn't made by Bradford. We ended up. I mean, which one would you have picked?
I didn't pick either.
Because you attacked them, but someone attacked her.
I would attack my Dieter before I swung off this.
Seraph guiding bolted
the
Dieter zombie.
But so Liliana was still attacked.
Yeah.
Right, but it was later in the battle once.
But nonetheless, the answer of both
correct
was put on the field.
I guess so, yeah.
Because if I just had to deal with him, that'd be fine. Dealing with all this is a different story, my man.
Monkey.
So anyways, the answer was inevitably both. Luckily, Sister of Light Cordelia hooked a homie up after severing the last sending to Iceland. I don't exactly know what she did, but regardless, she threw a fucking massive burst of light into the room that incapacitated all the undead people and made Deliana conjure this big monkey that took the blow for her.
She still seemed like stunned or reeling, so that's why I decided to attack her.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, she decided to leave, and I think a couple people tried to test her patience by attacking her further. That we couldn't score a kill on her, unfortunately. Maybe later. In the meantime, Quint did free Augustus of his necromantic chains, and then he joined our side. Hell yeah. But eventually, Deliana summoned these two. I think it was Hannah and I don't remember this one. Something to do with the scientific name of sharks.
That is correct.
Josso.
Jaws. Yeah, of course. But she did take her exit after conjuring a big, I don't remember the type of bird, but a big bird, an undead bird, and flew off. Everyone managed to enter into the vault, which had been opened up from the holy blast. Quinn was the last one in, having been knocked unconscious by Lufer, and then Augustus grabbed him and threw him in. And then he decided to turn his attention to the remaining undead people on the field, starting with Dieter. But in the meantime, in a faster and light scenario, Jericho had entered into the vault ahead of us and talked with Leona, who was trapped, but not really trapped in there, as we eventually learned. What did Jericho and Leona talk about?
Well, did some catching up. We had some dinner together. No.
technically sort of true.
Upon approaching, I will say that the first thing that Jericho overheard was her dinner companion. Was he a dragonborn, or was he just wearing that armor?
It was hard to tell because he's wearing the armor the whole time, but he did have a tail to the armor that seemed to move with it.
Right. All right. So some gentleman. I don't even think Jericho knows what a dragonborn is. So,
They've been dead for who knows how long.
A gentleman in full armored regalia with a dragon-shaped helm and a tail said, "It looks like even fate smiles upon you." Something to that effect. And Jericho approached. He introduced himself as Jericho of Lilyvale, and the gentleman introduced himself as Captain Commander. Ooh, I have it. I have it somewhere. I promise I do.
Kentamir Ken her on her on her.
It's literally right at the top of the chat. Captain Commander Kentamir Ken on her. Damn it! It's like the thank you.
We do a recap?
It's real. Jericho invited himself to sit down next to Leona at the table, where he learned that Leona had already taken the test and was found worthy, and she had the dragon egg. Jericho, with a proposition, said, "Let me take this test, see if I'm worthy." And Leo, I beg of you, I humbly request, if you care for what we had at all, stay here at least long enough to see if I'm worthy or not. And then we can fight over the dragon egg then. She stayed, cheekily saying that she doesn't have much of an appetite, as she, kind of nibbled on the food that was in front of her. So basically saying, hey, okay, fine, hurry it up. And he did. He was asked several questions by Captain Commander Kentamir Ken on her. And in the end, things about why do you fight? What would you do if you found out that everything you were fighting for was impossible, or the odds were far out of your favor? And it seems like the answers that Jericho gave were smiled upon by whatever entity or entities were conducting the judgment, the trial, because it didn't seem to be Kentamir that was passing judgment. In the end, Jericho was found worthy, though Leona was not really willing to part with the egg. However, Kentamir said that while she may have been worthy, he himself didn't approve of her cause, and so wasn't going to conjure up the exit for her, thusly trapping her there forever. But she had basically an Uno reverse card, where she knew what this place was. Its true, what'd she say? Its true, like, nature, its true purpose, or something like that. As she removed her blindfold to reveal two milky white eyes, it seems like she has some kind of blind sense. And she attacked Jericho, put him down in 2 attacks, and used her tier 1 Darkest Night to teleport out of that location. In a way that only a person with blind sense could, I assume. Extra dimensional space, illusory space, impossible space, don't really know. But she was able to get out of there. where she removed her spear from Jericho, left him to bleed out in the middle of the Dusklands, far from his allies. She bid him farewell, expressing her not sympathies, but apologizing that Jericho ever thought he wasn't worthy of such a thing. She said that whether he lives or dies, it's up to him, and she left. And Jericho tried crawling after her. Gus's sword in hand, still lit up, as he crawled along the ground, growing weaker and weaker. And the others entered the space.
Yeah. We entered into space, Quint being the last one in at 0 HP, but he got patched up by his allies. Hell yeah. Took a look around the place and saw Captain Commander Kentamir Ken Unur. Knowing that the Knight Captain Commander is a PC, I find it weird his last name is Ken Unher, because that sounds really close to Honor, and I wonder if they did a cheeky bit with the name. I don't know. I'm just thinking aloud out here. But yeah, we talked to Knight Captain Commander Kentamir Ken Unher.
You're adding 4 titles to him.
The Lord Captain Commander, all that is holy,
Supreme Master of all the camels.
Like idiot made up in here. Camels. Of all the beasts of the earth and fishes of the sea and birds of the sky.
Idi Amin?
I forgot about that guy.
Anyways, we talked to Knight Captain Commander Kendrick and her and asked him a shit ton of questions about what had transpired in front of him between Leona and Jericho, as well as what this place is, which like we got some general ideas that it's not exact. Well, we knew by the end of it that it was not what it seemed, certainly. And the actual Knight Captain Commander Kentamir Ken on her is long since dead, and this is just the equivalencies of Lucifer, I guess, and like this sort of VI, like it's a projection of him, but it is not the real him, and his time is already ending now that the door has been opened up. We tried to get some information from him about the past, this ancient history before the fall. He himself wasn't exactly like the scholarly sort, but you know he had value in being having a layman's approach on knowledge. Quint tried to press him to coming with us, but he refused. But he did give us a parting gift after he took Quint's equivocally his graduation gift and stabbed it, leaving this golden radiance and rainbow radiance in it. So I imagine that's going to be something related to the Knights of the Covenant subclass, but we'll see. Regardless, not gonna lose him. 100% not gonna lose him.
He also kept us time stopped in the paradise version of things where we could get a short rest.
Correct, because as we were discussing prior, this zone that we're in is faster than light, which is why Jericho and Leo had their conversation and managed to bamf out. In theory, they might have bamfed out faster than our combat finished if it goes that fast, right? Like timey-wimey shit, right?
Now we're thinking.
I think the story point of it, though, is that they would have popped out after we popped in.
We took our short rest and bid... what is this now? Hi, Lord Sir, Captain Commander Kentamir Ken on her. Goodbye. Where he had one final request, asking if any of us had minor illusion. Unfortunately, none of us did. But Bradford did him a solid by making a very lovely silhouette amidst the fire. Man just wanted to see boobs one last time.
I don't know what you're talking about. He was a reputable man, high of honor.
Right.
Don't know what you're talking
about. You're right. You're right, Garth. You're right. He's an ass guy. You're right. You're 100%.
I mean, he did like humps. I don't know.
X-Wave's affinity for camels a bit too much. But anyways, we exited, and as we exited, Augustus's form was dead, but so too was everything else in here. So the zone is maybe not secure, but it's quiet.
Clear
And-
for the moment.
And we know from Lord of the Humped Ungulograde Beast of the Earth himself that that Leona had teleported, used her tier 1, which we've seen her use time and time again. So we know that she had to be relatively nearby, and that she took Jericho with him. So we are on the quest to find Jericho. Or his body. One or the other.
Yeah. I can't remember how we were going.
I have locate creature.
That's what it was. Okay. I was like, I know I have something, but I feel someone else did something, and that is correct.
Oh wait, that's in GM.
Phew! Again!
The blasting of Wall of Text. I cast Wall of Text. That'd be a fun. That'd be a fun, like, actual wall spell to put in the game, like a bunch of words to open. You take psychic damage looking at it. Anyways,
but if you speak several languages, then you take reduced damage.
Or would you take?
Oh,
more?
actually,
I feel like you would take more because intelligence spells that target the mind usually have the clause of if you're this stupid, it doesn't affect you.
Oh, that's a good point.
You just gave O ideas for
You
Y'all wanna
understands more.
I mean,
and that's the
go.
problem.
Let him have it. It sounds fun.
Wall of Text causes madness if you speak multiple languages.
I like that. I like it a lot.
Wall of Text.
Oh god, it's high school all over again! No! I don't want
Yeah,
to
that's not the normal spell I usually say in that voice. No, I say Twist of Fate.
Twist of Text.
Wall of tongue.
yeah.
For the context we have, that's so much worse.
Yeah.
Anyways, so about finding our ally's corpse or barely alive body.
Yeah.
Why does it have to be one or the other?
Why can't it be both? I mean, like, I guess you're
He's
technically
the
dead,
champion.
so like... Shut up, man, we're coming to help.
I don't know. He's being awfully begrudging about it. Maybe we should just leave him to die. I'm fucking with you. But yeah, we are en route. I imagine we're gonna have to like UT out. Well, I mean, we have to UT out because the only way up here that doesn't involve moving a shit ton of debris is the hole.
So,
Don't hate roll 20. That's on you, man.
as we start here, well, guys, I'm gonna hate to have to break it to you, but
Go on then.
what does Jericho do in these moments?
I'm crawling. Unless I have no more strength to crawl.
What happens when you get exsanguinated? You lose strength, right?
Yeah, oh my god, significantly done. Anemia, you're so lethargic. Hypovolemia, yeah. So, yeah, you know, Jericho, you begin to crawl. I won't make the joke.
What joke? Make it.
No. You
Crawling in
begin
my
to do your level 3 prison crawl.
Oh no! That quite literally is what it is, because he's crawling with one arm too. Only one he has left.
Good.
Eventually, when she's long gone, and the blood loss, though he bleeds slower than most, he does bleed. Once the blood loss starts to get to him, I think he will stop and roll over onto his back, and one arm splayed out, the one holding the blade pressed to his chest. He will lay there and force himself to breathe so that he'll know when he no longer has any breath left.
You begin to force yourself to breathe, staring up at the grayish black abyss that is the sky above. before you notice this floating creature with an almost chitin-like eye come over and notice you.
Spare glance over to it. Does it look weak?
It looks pretty weak.
Does it look like it has a heartbeat or blood in it?
I think I would say it looks necrotized.
I've fed on necrotized things before, right?
You have. But as it looks at you, you see these tendrils start coming out almost like a sprout of a beanstalk out of the top of its chitin-like shell, and they start almost vibrating.
I sit there and watch it. Wait for it to get closer.
It does not.
Mm.
But what it does do, you begin hearing noise this way.
A similar noise that this thing's making?
Something like this.
Are you playing a sound effect?
No,
Yeah.
you begin to see these small little creatures crawl out from under the roots.
Oh,
Small.
It has hand. It looks like a hand. What the fuck?
Does.
If you were to describe the sound, would it be high pitched or would it be like sharp and
Staticky.
Staticky.
It sounds staticky.
That's
So like a shit ton of like mayflies out your window or something. Like that much buzzing.
Like almost like
TV
white
static?
noise. Yeah, like a radio frequency static.
Would we have heard similar when flying on the Dragonback?
No, that would sound like
No.
a distortion. Like
Okay.
someone just turned the distortion way too high up on their bass and started jamming.
Okay, cool. Different sounds. Well,
so the opposite of what that was?
As it sits here and looks at you, oh, it certainly looks like it won't be long now.
Mhm. Well, one last question of what would Gus do? I think, as evidenced by what the others saw at the top of the tower when they exited the door, in a situation like this, Gus would fight until he no longer can. If you don't think I would be able to, then I won't, but otherwise I would like to try and summon my shadow clone.
Oh, that is kind of cool.
This body's broken, but that one's not. And I didn't use that last fight.
I think I kind of roll me a charisma save.
Oh. This is gonna be rough. Yeah.
Oh, that's about as bad as it gets. You've been dwelling so far into the light that you've been forsaking that shadow for a little bit of time now.
Mhm.
As this creature crawls over to you, what would be Jericho's last thoughts?
I think that he can't die here because he still needs to save Leona. Now more than ever.
This guy. As this creature crawls over to you, its mandibles opening wide as it pulls itself along almost like a severed hand, and these four little appendages start reaching across the ground and start going to crawl up your armor.
Never once does the creature itself as a whole get within melee distance.
The appendages do. As it grabs and wraps around you and begins to hold on to you and pull you into it. As its jaw like unhinges and you hear a crack and its mouth opens like it's about to suck you into a bag. Like you would rake up a spare set of leaves.
Like a cornered, wounded animal, the moment an opportunity to lash out arises, Jericho is going to summon whatever strength he has left to take it.
Okay.
Not with the heavy greatsword of his brother, not with the fangs that he never asked for, but with the farming implement still sheathed at his side. Even if it's to cut the appendages that are snaking around him like roots.
I like that. Roll me an attack. As you cut off its appendages, it sort of lets out a static that almost sends your ear into tinnitus. As it pulls back, it looks wounded, but about to charge at you. As it begins to approach, it starts rushing from just these few feet away, and these aren't fast creatures. That said,
our boy! I was wondering when they show up.
Roll initiative.
roll me some initiative.
What just happened? What happened? No. Who showed up?
Victor appeared.
Victor showed up.
Oh my god.
Jericho's no longer the only watchman on the board.
What do you mean? There's a watchman right next to you. He's just the purple strider looking motherfucker. He's a watchman.
Kemper, is that you?
No, he